All right, so this video is the top 20 most underrated fighters in the UFC right now. Started out as a top 10. I went through the entire roster on the UFC, and there's just too many good names to mention. So I bumped it up to top 20. Now, a lot of these people aren't going to be who you think. You know, I know what comes to mind right off the bat if you're watching this video. You got like Aljamain Sterling, guys like Sean Brady, guys like that. I don't necessarily think they belong on this list, right? Because look, Aljamain Sterling, he's been a favorite his last few fights. I don't know if he was a favorite against Movsar, but he was a favorite against Ortega. He was a favorite against Calvin Kattar. He was a favorite against O'Malley. I don't think he's as underrated as you would think. I think a list Aljamain Sterling belongs on is like, a most disrespected champions in UFC history. Maybe an underrated champions type list, right? Sean Brady has kind of always had the hype. I remember him having hype when he was fighting Michael Chiesa. Everybody was talking about this big, undefeated, strong as an ox, world class jiu-jitsu guy who had beaten Craig Jones in a jiu-jitsu match. He was like had a lot of hype in the Bilal Muhammad fight. So I think Sean Brady's had more hype. I don't necessarily think he's been underrated throughout his career. I do think for Sean Brady, he's more of like a UFC dark horse type list fighter. So a lot of these guys are people that I feel don't get the respect they necessarily deserve. Maybe people aren't talking about them as much as they should be. So yeah, let's get into it. Starting at number 20, Jasmine Jasuda Vicious. Look, man, Jasmine Jasuda Vicious is super underrated. I don't typically like watching women's MMA very much, but I can appreciate the skill set of Jasmine Jasuda Vicious. Just Jazz Vicious. Jesus. What a mouthful. Dude, she's got world class grappling. She just makes the right decisions, right? She doesn't sit there and pitter pat. She's looking to take you to the ground, beat the living shit out of you, or submit you. And she's done that in her last few fights, right? If you look at it, I know she's got money. She beat Jessica Andrade, right? Destroyed Jessica Andrade. And Jessica Andrade is far from washed. We saw her give Lupe Godinez, a contender, a very hard fight. She knocked Mackenzie Dern out a few years back, or maybe it was last year, right? Ariane Lipsky, Myra Bueno Silva, former title contender. I mean, Fatima Klein is an underrated win, dude. Fatima Klein is a beast. So this is a good resume she's building up for herself, right? I think she's number 5 in the women's flyweight division now, and I just enjoy watching her fights. I don't think that many people like really care about her, but I feel like she is definitely underrated in that division. The Manon fight's going to be a tough one because Manon is just a fucking nightmare. She's a big flyweight. I don't think I can pick her in that, but I got Jasmine Jazz Vicious coming in at my number 20 spot. All right, number 19. I got Cowie Fernandez. So Cowie Fernandez is undefeated in the UFC. No, he's not. Sorry. He lost to Mark Jacasey, and then he went on a run. I don't have him as high up just because of kind of the resume, right? You lost to Mark Jacasey. Muhammad Yahya is an absolute can. He set a record in his last fight, Muhammad Yahya did. Most times knocked down in a round, I believe, or in a fight. I think it was like 6-7 times, right? Garam Kutateledze destroyed his legs, picked him apart. Don't know how Garam survived. Harry Hardwick, we saw what happened last weekend in the Paris card where he just destroyed his leg in the first round. Underrated guy. 3-1 in the UFC right now. Yeah, dude, I think he's definitely a guy to watch out for. I think he's pretty underrated. He's still relatively unknown just because of the guys he's fighting, but dude, he's bringing back nasty calf kicks, man. We don't see a lot of guys destroying calves in the UFC right now. And he's one of those guys, man. Super underrated dude. All right. Number 18, Azat Maxim. Dude, this guy has such a deceiving record in the UFC. He's like 1-2 in the UFC, but this guy is so fucking good. His last fight, he went to war with Tabir Ulanbekov. I think it's Tabir. Tagir Ulanbekov. Super entertaining fight. World class mixed martial arts. On the feet, on the ground, the scrambles. It was an insane fight. He lost the decision. Kind of let that fight get away from him. He wasn't as aggressive as he needed to be. But dude, super underrated guy. Such an underrated record. But like, look at the losses. Charles Johnson, Tagir Ulanbekov. Like, these are world class mixed martial artists. And he's put up a good fight almost every time, especially in his last one with Ulanbekov, dude. He's well rounded everywhere. He never runs out of gas. He can grapple. He can strike. Like it's really entertaining to watch this guy fight, and he's got a super like deceiving record because this guy has capability to be ranked, and he probably should be ranked. Like, put this guy against Bruno Silva and watch what happens. Bruno Silva's like 13 or 14. Put Azat Maxim against Bruno Silva and watch what happens. Guarantee he destroys him. So yeah, Azat Maxim 18. All right, moving up to number 17. Chris Duncan, dude. Chris Duncan. Chris Duncan popped onto my radar after he beat Vucinic. And this guy just keeps winning, dude. He's the underdog in like almost every single fight. I guarantee he was the underdog in the Oki fight. But dude, these are some good crafty wins here, bro. Balaji Oki, like, he's a tough dude, man. Balaji Oki hits hard. He doesn't have much cardio in going into the second, third rounds, as we saw against his fight with Mason Jones last weekend. But dude, like, Chris Duncan's underrated. He's really good everywhere. He's good on the ground. He dominated Jordan Vucinic on the ground. He's got a good takedown game. He's got good cardio. He's got good submissions, right? As you can see, back-to-back submissions in those fights. And then he's coming off like a fight of the night performance in the fucking Apex against Mateusz Rombetsky. I think that's his name. Rombetsky. Mateusz Rombetsky, absolute war. One of the bloodiest fights you'll ever see in the Apex. Like, nasty elbows on the feet. Like, well-rounded. Like, I don't know, man. This might be a hot take, but this guy could be the reincarnation of Dustin Poirier. He trains out of American Top Team. He's good everywhere. He's fucking scrappy. He's willing to get down and go to war, stay in the pocket, land nasty elbows, get you to the ground, beat the shit out of you on the ground, work for submissions. Like, really, really underrated guy. Like, I'm just saying, he could be the next coming of Dustin Poirier. Skill-wise, I don't quite think he's there yet. But, dude, Chris Duncan, I keep picking against him, and he just keeps winning. Moving up to number 16. Muslim Salikov, dude. Muslim Salikov is underrated. Now, I know he's kind of had a journeyman career in the UFC. He's on a win streak now. As you can see here, Santiago Ponzinibbio, Song Kanan, and then most recently a big upset over Carlos Leal, who was, dude, that guy was looking like a killer, right? He went in there and knocked him the fuck out in the first round. Dude, this guy is like 41 years old. He has probably the best spinning back high kick I've ever fucking seen. It is the snappiest, most lightning spinning back kick ever. Like, and this dude's like 41, man, and he's still spinning back kick, has a lightning fast spinning back kick. He's knocking dudes out. He's well-rounded. He's got good takedown defense. Yeah, dude, I know he got knocked out by Randy Brown. Lost the decision to Dalby, but he's went on a run recently, and he's looked really good at 40 fucking 1 years old. Like, his last fight, he showed up more ripped, faster, and more crisp at 41 years of age. Super underrated dude in Muslim Salikov. All right, moving up to number 15. I got Chepe Mariscal, man. Chepe Mariscal, 5-0 in the UFC, right? Never seems to run out of gas. I think there's been some jokes that this guy's on like TRT or some shit because he just never gets tired. This guy is an absolute wrecking ball. Like, he's just constantly putting pressure on his opponents on the feet, landing takedowns. Like, he will be beating the shit out of you on the feet. He'll take you down and immediately start ground and pounding you. Like, he's just a nightmare to deal with, right? And he has some good wins, underrated wins in the UFC. Morgan Charrier, good win, right? Damon Jackson, good win. Damon Jackson's beat a lot of tough guys in the UFC. Ricardo Ramos, like, Shepe's the real deal, man. Like, he's the real deal. right? And he looks like it's weird with him because he looks like he's getting tired in the later rounds because he has such a frantic pace. But he just keeps beating the shit out of people, dude. He's an exciting guy to watch. He's an absolute marauder, dude, as Joe Rogan would say. He's a marauder. So I got Sheppy at the 15th spot. Moving up to 14. I got D-Rod, dude. I got D-Rod in here. I think D-Rod is underrated, dude. The guy was ranked almost in the top 10 at one point a few years ago. Kind of had a downward spiral, worked his way back up, and now he's on a 3-fight win streak, right? Like, if you look at D-Rod, it's like, I know Alex Morono is questionable. Santiago is not a bad win, dude. Santiago's a crafty vet, dude. He's a seasoned vet. And then Kevin Holland in that last fight, that was fight of the night, I think. Or fight of the night worthy, right? Dude, he's good on the feet. He's defensively sound. He has power. He can hurt people. He's been knocking people down. I don't know how Kevin Holland made it out of that fight to a decision. He's good on the ground. He's got good takedown defense. He's well fucking rounded. I know a lot of people think he's a shit fighter. I don't think D-Rod's a shit fighter, dude. Do I think he's going to go on to become a champion or crack the top 5? Absolutely not. But D-Rod is dude, he is like a super underrated dude in terms of his well-rounded skills. Moving on. Number 13, we got Jung Young Park, dude, the Iron Turtle. Another super underrated guy. Kind of has that D-Rod build. Stocky, not real ripped. But, dude, Jung Young Park is good everywhere. And he constantly pressures, and he just makes intelligent decisions in there, dude. Like, he knows when to go for a takedown. If he's getting pieced up on the feet, he's going to try to get the fight to the ground. He's got good ground and pound, good submissions, good top control. And this guy, like, I don't think a lot of people know this. This dude is 7-3 in the UFC. 7-3 in the UFC. He's beat a lot of seasoned vets, dude, like Brad Tavares. That Nardiev last fight he had, dude, he got kneed in the fucking head on the ground. He got poked in the eye, hit in the nuts like 2 times, and he still came back and won that fight. Like, he is a super underrated guy and an intelligent fighter, man, overall. I mean, he lost to Muniz. Muniz is a beast on the ground. Again, it's another guy. I don't think he's going to ever be top of the division. But, like, dude, he's going to be a hard out for most people outside of, like, the top 10. Like, he's hard to get by. Moving up. Number 12. Fares Siam, dude. Fares Siam is on a 5-fight win streak. I think he lost his debut, and then that's when he went on a run after that. Like, grappling used to be kind of a struggle for this guy. Like, that's where he was losing, was grappling, right? And then he fixed that hole in his game. And now he's just been a nightmare for most people that I've seen, right? Like, he's one of those guys that's just putting the pressure on. He can light you up on the feet. He can get you on the ground. Really do damage there. He's not much of a submission guy, but he's well-rounded. He's an exciting fighter to watch. He's a pressure-based fighter. And yeah, dude, I mean, Jai Herbert, decent win. Claudio Pulis, that's a dangerous jiu-jitsu guy, right? Had no problem beating that guy. TKO'd Matt Frivola. That's a seasoned vet. And then he's coming off a win over Mike Davis, dude. Mike Davis is also, I didn't think he deserved to make the list, but Mike Davis is a pretty underrated guy in his own right. He's athletic as fuck. He's strong. He can strike. He can grapple. And, dude, Fares Siam just had no problems with whatever Mike Davis threw his way. Because Mike Davis was trying to throw a lot his way, man, in terms of the grappling. And he just had no problem, dude. He beat the shit out of him on the ground. He beat him up on the feet. Like, this guy he's super exciting, and he's one of the up-and-coming guys to watch. I think this is a guy that's definitely going to be ranked at some point in the lightweight division. So, yeah, Fares Siam at that number 12. Moving up, number 11. I got Melky Costa. Melquizel Costa, man. I think he's one of those guys that just doesn't get talked about enough. Super underrated guy. He's on a win streak. He's got some really, really solid wins. Look, he's good everywhere. He's obviously he submitted Andre Fili with a guillotine choke in like the first minute or 2 of the fight. He beat Christian Rodriguez by decision. He beat Erosa. Dude, these are underrated wins. These guys are tough. These guys have won a lot of fights in the UFC, man. Like, we know Christian Rodriguez is like the fraud check extraordinaire, right? Dude, he beat up all these guys. These fights were not even close. 4-fight win streak, my bad. So, like, yeah, he's super, like, again, a pressure fighter, exciting guy to watch, lights people up on the feet, has no problems on the ground. Melquizo Costa doesn't get talked about enough, right? I think this guy could even be a ranked guy at one point in the featherweight division. I'd have to go look at the rankings, but, like, dude, like, I honestly don't know how this guy isn't ranked at this point. Super, super underrated guy in Melky Costa. All right, top 10. Top 10, here we go. Starting off the top 10, I got Esteban Ribovic, the pressure man himself, dude. This guy is a walking fight of the night. Every single card that he's on. This guy throws probably 300 strikes a fight. He's got good takedown defense, good grappling defense, and he just never fucking stops pressuring and throwing strikes. I do got him. I would have rated him a little bit higher because I do think he's really world class, but like the defense kind of scares me with this guy. I feel like this guy's days are going to be numbered. Like he's got a time clock on his career because of the damage he takes on the feet. That last fight with Elvis Brenner, dude, like he did take a lot of significant strikes from Elvis. It was fight of the night again. And he just out pressured him. And I called that one to a T. I said he was gonna beat Brenner on volume, right? Because Brenner is a good striker. And it does worry me how many hits Esteban Ribovic takes in his fights. But yeah, dude, super underrated guy. Walking fight of the night. TKO over Terrence McKinney. Like, I think that was a fight of the night win over Daniel Zellhuber. Lost a very, very close decision against Hawk Paras. I watched that fight. It could have gone either way, dude, in all honesty. So technically, he probably should be on a 5-fight win streak right now. Solid bounce back against Elvis Brenner. Ribovic, dude, like, the fact that this guy's in the Apex, like, shows me that the UFC just is throwing shit together and doesn't really. I don't think they do much research. I don't think they look into these guys too much because, like, dude, we got guys like this in the Apex, guys like Anthony Hernandez in the Apex, guys like Chris Duncan in the Apex. Like, most of these guys have been like their last fight was in the Apex. It just shows you the UFC doesn't really give a shit anymore. You know, I haven't even looked at the promo for Canelo Crawford. It's a generational fight, but I guarantee the promo is absolutely insane on that fight. So Esteban Ribovic breaking in the top 10 here. All right, number 9, Jared Flash Gordon, dude. Jared Flash Gordon, man, like again, like I think I discussed him. I discussed him in my predictions video. Like this guy's a couple robbery decisions away from being a ranked fighter in the lightweight division. He's got to win over Paddy Pimblett. Let's just call it what it is. Paddy Pimblett's top 10 in the world right now. He beat Paddy Pimblett. He got robbed by. Let me pull up his record here. I think he got. I don't know if it robbery, but super close fight with Nasrat Hawk Paras. No, actually, I watched that. That was a robbery. Robbery against Nasrat. Robbery against Paddy Pimblett. Robbery against Muhammad Naimov. Like, dude, this guy's like a couple robbery decisions away from being ranked in the top 15. He's well-rounded everywhere. He's crafty on the feet. Yeah, he doesn't necessarily hit too hard, but like he can show out on people, dude. He can fucking outpoint you for 15 minutes easily. He was outpointing Bobby Green, starting to pick Bobby Green the fuck apart, and then Bobby Green headbutted him, knocked him out. It was a no contest, right? Definitely one of the most underrated guys, Jared Gordon, who doesn't get talked about that much because he doesn't have a particularly super exciting style, but you can appreciate watching the skill set of this guy. He's got a great backstory, right? Used to be a drug addict, got his shit together, and like he just makes right decisions, and like it sucks to see him get robbed so many times, dude. Like he's just unlucky, dude. He's unlucky because he should probably be ranked like 12, 11, 12, 13 in that division right now. Number 8, Randy Rude Boy Brown. Super underrated guy. Hasn't quite been able to hack it at the top of the rankings, but that's okay, dude. He's still underrated. He's still underrated. He flies under the radar. Look what he did to Nicholas Dalby in his last fight. Like, brutal knockout, dude. Sick knockout. Right hook, face planted him. It honestly looked like the Max Holloway Justin Gaethje knockout. That's how sick that was, right? Got robbed by Brian Battle. I like Brian Battle. That was a robbery. He fucking lit Brian Battle up all night. I don't know how they gave that to Brian Battle, but he should be on a 4-fight win streak right now. Beat Alessio Zaleski dos Santos. Beat Muslim Salikov. Dude, this is underrated wins here. Salikov, dude, he's on a resurgence. He's spinning back kicking people. He's knocking people out at 41 years of age. He looks in the best shape of his life at 41. He TKO'd that guy, bro. He beat Alessio Zaleski dos Santos, a seasoned vet in the UFC who's won a lot of fights. Brian Battle, he won that fight. And then Nicholas Dalby, dude, that's another underrated win. Nicholas Dalby, that guy beat Renat Fakardinov. He got robbed by him, but he beat him, right? Underrated guy, nasty on the feet. Dude, this guy gets into the flow state and just starts picking people apart. It's beautiful to watch the striking of Randy Brown. Underrated dude at number 8. All right, number 7, Dangerous Davy Grant. I'm sorry for picking against you in my last fight, dude. I'm sorry. Last fight I picked against him God damn it. Let me just pull up the roster. This is why I have this. Damon Blackshear. This is why I have this here to help me out. Dude, I picked Damon Blackshear to beat this guy. First round was close, and then Davy Grant just fucking masterclassed him the last 2 rounds. Dude, this guy has some of the best boxing combinations I've ever seen in that division. His body shots are nasty. He's got nasty leg kicks. Like, he mixes it up beautifully. He's like fucking 40. He's like 39, dude. Look at the unk bod. But this guy is still masterclassing these young contenders, dude. And that was a super good win against Damon Blackshear. It just showed how good Davy Grant is. It got me really thinking. Like, it was like y'all must have forgot performance. Right? Because I forgot, dude. I forgot. And I apologize for that, Davy Grant. Like, Davy Grant, he's got that y'all must have forgot unk energy in 2025, dude. I mean, this guy, the fact that this guy has never been ranked in the UFC is a mystery to me. He's got a win over, like, Chito Vera a few years ago, right? He got robbed by Daniel Marcos. Daniel Marcos is another one of those robbery merchants in the UFC, right? Ramon Taveras, Damon Blackshear. He's going to put it on Charles Jourdain. Like, that fight kind of confuses me that they're making that after he beat Damon Blackshear. He masterclassed Damon Blackshear. Damon Blackshear is better than Charles Jourdain. And you know, Charles, this is going to be probably like a highlight reel performance for Davy Grant. But I'm not here for that. I'm not here to do picks on that. I think he's going to school Charles Jourdain. He's been doing this shit a long time. Watching his last fight with Blackshear just made me appreciate how fucking skilled and underrated Dangerous Davy Grant is. Alrighty, number 6. Joel Alvarez, man. Joel Alvarez, there's a bright future for this dude. Like, he was ranked 15th at one point. He's kind of been sidelined due to injury. Right? He's been out almost a year. He was scheduled to face Benoit Saint-Denis. And yeah, dude, like, Benoit should be thanking his lucky stars that he didn't have to face Joel Alvarez, because Joel Alvarez would have put him on the fucking highlight reel. This guy, he's like a 6'1" lightweight. Nasty on the feet, dude. Hits like a truck. World-class boxing. He's almost kind of reminds me somewhat of a bigger version of Ilia Topuria. And his grappling has come a long way, dude. Because, like, I remember him getting absolutely demolished a few years ago by Arman Sarukian. He got taken down, opened up with an elbow early, and Arman just smashed him out, dude, for the TKO win. Since then, he's been on a tear, right? Mark Jacasey, Elvis Brenner, Drakkar Klose. Drakkar Klose is a good win. Elvis Brenner is a good win, dude. And he just smoked those guys. Absolutely smoked them. Treated them like they were nothing. The grappling still is a bit of a question because he hasn't faced a guy who's really going to have a heavy grappling attack. We saw what happened with Sarukian. He wasn't able to really deal with that and got stopped early. But, dude, yeah, super talented guy. I think they should make the Benoit fight again, in all honesty. I think he smokes Benoit. But, yeah, super underrated guy. He's been out a little while. He's kind of... You don't hear about him as much since he's been out almost a year. But, like, dude, this is a guy to watch out for. You almost forgot about Joel Alvarez at number 6. All right, here we go. Top 5. Top 5. Pat Sabatini. Pat Sabatini. I could just see people hating this pick right here, dude. Dude, Pat Sabatini, I believe he trains with Sean Brady and Joe Pyfer out of that camp in Philly. Dude, this guy is like the fucking Sean Brady of the lightweight division. He's like 7-2 in the UFC. Like, I know, like, I'm gonna put another grappler higher than him, but like, dude, super underrated guy. You watch his last fight with or you watch his fight with Joe Anderson Brito. That was in the UFC. I don't know. They mix a lot of grappling in here with him. I don't know why. Like, can we not separate the UFC and the grappling matches he's had? Last fight was Joe Anderson Brito. He absolutely demolished Joe Anderson Brito for 3 rounds. This guy gets you down. You're not fucking getting up. He's either going to beat the shit out of you on the ground for 15 minutes or he's going to submit you. He is the Sean Brady of the lightweight division. I'm telling you, this guy is a dark horse. The problem with Pat Sabatini, though, has been his chin. The losses he's had in the UFC, like to Diego Lopez, he got chinned. I'm going to tell you this right now. If this guy can improve his striking defense, this guy fucking mauls Diego Lopez. He mauls him. He mauls Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez don't want no part of this shit. I'm going to talk my shit here. This guy, you got to appreciate his grappling. He was another one of those guys that I kind of just forgot about, and then I watched the Joe Anderson fight, and it was masterclass, dude. He got him down, he squished him, beat his ass on the ground. Like I said, like he's either going to submit you or just beat you up for 15 minutes. You're not going to get back up when he takes you down. I think he's like an All-American that has world-class jiu-jitsu, which is a fucking lethal combination, dude, because he has that wrestling to get the fight to the ground and control top game, and he has the jiu-jitsu to just fucking smush you, dude. Jonathan Pierce, Joe Anderson Brito, he's only lost twice in the UFC. He did get knocked out both times, so that is kind of a question for this guy. Like I said, if he can improve that striking defense, be more defensively sound on the feet, dude, this guy is a fucking problem for almost anybody in that division. I promise you. I stand by that. This guy is the Sean Brady. He's maybe not Sean Brady. His grappling is the Sean Brady grappling of that division, bro. I don't think hardly anybody's out grappling this guy outside of like Arman Sarukian, maybe. So yeah, Pat Sabatini breaking in the top 5. Number 4, right above him, I got Grant KGD Dawson. Grant KGD Dawson, bro. He's only lost once in the UFC, right? Or no, twice. He lost to Ricky Glenn way long time ago. And then King Green, right? But like you look at this guy, like he's won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of his last 6. I'm gonna be honest with you. The Bobby King Green fight was a fluke. That never fucking happens 9 times out of 10. We live in the parallel universe where Bobby Green knocked him the fuck out. I promise you this guy smushes Bobby Green 9 times out of 10. This guy has got one of the best top games in the lightweight division right now. He gets you down, you're typically not getting back up. He's going to completely control you. And in his last few fights, dude, he's really been pushing the action on the ground, which I appreciate. Diego Ferreira was a solid win, dude, and he put it on Diego Ferreira. He got him down. He was beating him up on the ground, trying to finish the fight. He's a lot more aggressive while being able to maintain top control. And dude, you know how fucking hard it is to control people at this level? Like, hell, I've wrestled at the amateur level, and that was hard to control. Like, decent fucking competitors. This is like the UFC world-class, top of the line in mixed martial arts. And this guy is beating people up on the ground, controlling them. Super underrated top game. Like I said, 5 out of his last 6 wins. Bobby King Green was a fucking fluke. The fact that this guy got taken out of the rankings, like, baffles me. Because I think he was 10th when Bobby Green knocked him out. And then they're just like, all right, fuck you. You don't belong in the rankings anymore. This guy smokes Benoit Saint-Denis, and Benoit's in the rankings. I think this guy gives Joel Alvarez fucking problems, bro. This guy his grappling gives most people, at least outside the top 10, problems. Right? We got Benoit ranked over this guy? Really? Really, bro? Benoit was on a 2-fight losing streak, and now he's on a 2-fight win streak. He beat Mauricio Hufi. Cool. Super underrated guy, dude. This guy belongs in the rankings. So yeah, I can't wait to see where this guy goes from here. Dominant grappler, dude. Dominant grappler who's becoming a lot more entertaining to watch. Dude, I'm telling you, he's putting it on dudes on the ground, dude. Super underrated guy. All right, number 3, we got Rob Font, dude. Rob Font has been consistently underrated throughout his career. Um, like obviously he went to war with Cheeto Vera. I think he beat Cheeto Vera before that. I think they fought twice, and he beat Cheeto Vera the first time. Second fight, dude, he was putting it on Cheeto Vera, but he just doesn't. He doesn't really hit hard enough, and Cheeto was able to drop him in a few rounds and bust him open, land some really nasty shit on Rob Font. But dude, Rob Font, like, he's a volume based guy on the feet. He's got world class boxing, good movement. His grappling defense is pretty good. He attacks submissions on the ground. He is pretty crafty with that. Sometimes I think that's a bit of a downfall because I think the thing about Rob is he tends to accept bottom position too much and just look for submissions and things like that. But other than that, dude, well-rounded skill set. He's coming off back-to-back wins, dude, after losing to Davis and Figueiredo. No shame in that. Former champ. Kyler Phillips, Gene Matsumoto. Those are really solid victories, bro. Both, or Kyler was at least ranked. Gene Matsumoto, I honestly thought he probably deserved to win. I don't know. It was a close fight, but he gritted it out as the seasoned vet he is. And yeah, dude, Rob Font is just one of those guys that always flies under the radar. He is aging. He is slowing down a little bit, but you watch him through the course of his career, dude. Super well-rounded, world-class guy. Number 2. We got the man himself, Charles Energy Johnson. This guy is the fraud checker of all fraud checkers. Okay? This guy has fraud checked so many people. So many people, bro. And now you look at, bro, these guys, like, after they fight Charles Johnson, they go on these insane runs. Like Joshua Van, bro. Like, dude, look at this. Azat Maxim. That's another guy on this list who's super underrated. Jake Hadley was pretty decent. Joshua knocked Joshua Van out. The number 1 contender who's going to be fighting for the belt probably December or early 2026. Knock that dude out. We saw what he did to Loney Kavanaugh in Shanghai. Like, dude, this guy just finds a way to beat the best of the best coming up early in their career. Like, he'll be getting lit up. Joshua Van was lighting him up. Loney Kavanaugh was lighting him up. He hangs in there. He doesn't get down on himself, and he comes back and knocks these guys the fuck out. Well-rounded. He uses his range well. Not nasty knockout power. He's got good grappling defense, dude. He is hard to hold down. He's pretty easy to take down, but he's very hard to hold down. He's always going to be pushing a fucking pace. Always going to be in your face, putting pressure on you, using the range. A little bit weird, unorthodox on the feet, but you gotta have Charles Johnson, one of the most underrated guys. I can't remember what he's ranked, but like, dude, like the wins this guy has. Like even Muhammad Makayev, I remember them fighting. He gave Muhammad Makayev a tough time, dude. He has some weird losses. Like sometimes like he'll lose to guys that aren't as good, like a Ramazan Timarov. And then he'll come back and smoke Loney Kavanaugh in the second round. I think Loney Kavanaugh is better than Ramazan Timarov. He'll knock out Joshua Van. He'll beat Azat Maxim. Like, it is a bit up and down with him, but, like, dude, he is really, really underrated guy at number 2 spot. All right. Number 1. Now, again, keep in mind, like, some of you might disagree with my number 1. I established the criteria of this ranking list at the beginning of the video. I'm not taking guys who are, like, champions, you know, like an Aljo. I'm not taking, like, a Sean Brady because I don't necessarily think they're super underrated. When it comes to Aljo, like, I don't think he's underrated. I think people are aware of his skills. I just don't think I think people just don't fucking like him. I think they think he's boring to watch, is the thing. Even though his last fight wasn't boring, the Movistar fight wasn't boring. I don't think as a hardcore fan, none of his fights are boring. I do think he slows down a lot in the later rounds, and it does get boring then. And I think that's the biggest issue with Aljo is people They respect his skills. They're aware of his skills. They just don't fucking like to watch him fight. Sean Brady, again, I told you he's had hype for a long time, right? He's had hype for a long time. Since he fought Michael Chiesa, this guy's been, if you've paid attention, they were talking about Sean Brady back in the day a lot. Is an undefeated world-class jiu-jitsu guy who was strong as an ox. I don't know if he was the favorite in that Bilal Muhammad fight, but they were gassing that dude up in that fight too. So Sean Brady isn't necessarily underrated. They've rated Sean Brady throughout his career, right? He's always gotten a lot of praise. This guy at number 1 is world class. I don't feel like he's necessarily gotten the praise he deserves. Bit of an underrated, bit of a deceiving record as well. He's 1-2 in his last 3, which makes this ranking seem interesting. But he's been at the top for a while, dude, and I think he's one of those guys who can challenge for a title. I do. I think he beats most guys in that division. And right now, like, nobody's talking about him. I think it's been a minute since he's fought. The guy I have at my number 1, I got Arnold Allen, dude. Arnold Allen. Right? Like, dude, this guy was on an 8-fight win streak. Or 9-fight win streak or something going into that Holloway fight. He gave Holloway a good, tough, competitive fight. He took fucking 2 rounds off of Max Holloway. Right? Max Holloway ultimately was just too much for him. Started figuring him out. Picking him apart on the feet. And ultimately, he lost that fight. The Movsar fight was very, very controversial. A lot of people thought Arnold Allen won that fight. A lot of people thought Arnold Allen won that fight. If he beats Movsar and then beats Giga Chikadze after that, dude, you probably are looking at this guy fighting Volkanovski in December for that featherweight title. Like, his only losses are to the absolute best in the division. Everybody else he's smoked, dude. It hasn't been close. This guy goes out and fucking styles on people. He's got good grappling defense, as we've seen in the Movsar fight. He's good on the feet. His defense is some of the best fucking defense I've ever seen. His striking is, like, one of the best striking in that division. If I'm sitting here right now matching him up in the top 5, so let's start with Lerone Murphy, because Lerone Murphy's going to be fighting for the title. I think he fucking smokes Lerone Murphy, dude. I think he outclasses Lerone Murphy. Diego Lopez, I think he fucking smokes Diego Lopez. I think his defense is good enough on the feet to not get caught by anything big and crazy from Diego. I think he boxes the fucking ears off Diego Lopez. Right? Yair Rodriguez would be interesting, but I think he can be defensively sound enough to outpoint Yair to a decision. Aljamain Sterling, I think he gives Aljo problems because Aljo tends to slow in the later rounds. I think he can put enough pressure and beat Aljo. I think this guy beats almost anybody in that fucking division. Max isn't in the division. You put him against Movsar Evloev a second time, I guarantee he learns from the first fight, is a little bit more aggressive, throws a little bit harder, scrambles a little bit harder when he does get taken down. I think he beats Movsar. Like, I truly think this guy is... I know he hasn't... his downfall is he hasn't fought in about a year, right? That's the biggest thing with Arnold Allen. He hasn't fought since July of last year. I don't know if he's injured. I haven't really followed his career too much, which proves he's underrated because I haven't been following him either. But, like, I was going through that roster, and it's like, dude, this guy probably, if he would stay busy, would probably be the rightful number 1 contender. I think he beats almost anybody in the division. Outside of Alexander Volkanovski, you will be seeing this guy fight for the belt in the near future. Maybe they line up a Movsar second fight as a title eliminator versus the winner of Volkanovski and Lerone Murphy. But yeah, man, that's the list here. Arnold Allen taking the cake at number 1. Let me know your thoughts in the comment. If you like the video, subscribe, drop me a like, drop me a comment, all that good stuff. Until next time, see ya.